you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement. And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of Covenant. Break our 7 seals. I have a special presentation today, brothers and sisters. And this is to the NOI, the Levites. So I'm going to have a little, not discussion, but information for you. But let's go over a couple of things first. The derivative reality. This is not just something. That's the mathematics of it. Those are derivative of us. And we're in a derivative state, at least everyone else is. He said Suleiman, he came out of it because he was the one to break the seals. Firstborn amongst the dead ones. Everybody else is still in derivative status. Okay. And they read the book, that's a derivative book. The Quran is a derivative book. So they're in a derivative world. They think that's the real world. And the scripture tells you that's not the real world. It says the world is coming in, you can't imagine it. It's totally devoid from this completely. But then the derivative world. And no matter what you say or do, right, to derivative people, they got to hear anything you say. It's not going to register with them because you're talking about a dimension they have no idea about, right? No ability to, no attributes, anything. So they totally two-dimensional. And then you got those that's three-dimensional but stuck in a two-dimensional reality. And among those, right, they may choose this to invest their energy in that two-dimensional reality and stay there, and some will, right, they hear the voice of them and start, right, developing their three-dimensional qualities. You have to develop them. Muscles don't grow by yourself, you have to develop them. So they have to hear his voice. They can hear his voice because they're two-dimensional, but they have, right? They're in two-dimensional state. They have three-dimensional nature. They can hear it. The others hear too. They decide to ignore it. So, you know what I mean? I ain't going, this world's life. So if you understand what derivative is, right? That's what a derivative is. So if you understand it, you understand. You don't, you don't. Derivative of a cube is plane. Right? So if you're in a room, you're walking around 3 dimension. But you're walking on the 2nd dimension. That's the floor. That's what you're walking on. That's the derivative of it. And it says they had a form of godliness, the stranger the power of it, or another bottom line is, right? They have our form without our substance. Same thing with Sunnis. They had a form of Islam without the substance. Islam is mathematics, Islam, but they don't talk mathematics. You can talk to them forever. They don't talk to mathematics. No mathematics at all. Philosophies, this, that, right? But no mathematics. They don't have the substance. They just got the form. They got the Quran. They got the Mecca. They got Kaaba. They got Ramadan. They got the Hajj. All that. That's the form. But no substance. Move on, brothers and sisters. So here it is. This is Sunniism, right? And this is the world's coming in. They have no, they can't even see this because all they can see is forward and backwards. This world's coming totally. Look, it's got more. It's totally different. I mean, look, Three-dimensional qualities, got things this couldn't even imagine. Things this even couldn't imagine. So what's coming in? Who's coming in? The Lamb's bringing it in. The Lamb is bringing it in. And this covers that energy deprivation got us down to the second dimension. Three-dimensional beings, right? But energy deprivation, deprived of energy, reduces down to two-dimensional beings. Okay? Now, then as a two-dimensional being, we brought a two-dimensional being into existence to rule that two-dimensional world. That's Adam. He ruled that two-dimensional world. But where did he come from? He came from us. We produced him from our seed. But technically, he's a seed of Abraham too. A two-dimensional seed of Abraham. Okay? But when the world starts energizing, move third dimension, they can't do it. They have no idea what it's about. Have no concept whatever of it. They don't even know it's a third dimension. But it's us that are three-dimensional beings in two-dimensional state, right? We're producing. Remember, we produce a two-dimensional being. That's Adam. But now, production between ourselves, we can produce both. We can produce two-dimensional children, and we can produce three-dimensional children. They have three-dimensional attributes. They're still in two-dimensional state. Because he said all this about it. That's why you see Noah's son and all. He was a two-dimensional being. Lot's wife, two-dimensional being. Because, right? They couldn't get to. They couldn't make it to three dimensions. They couldn't make it. They were stuck in two dimensions. Noah's son, man, no, I ain't going. All he had to do was get in the ark. He couldn't see it. Because he had a two-dimensional mind. Two-dimensional being. So we can produce. And according to, it said Job, he produced all his children was two-dimensional. And when the energized and three-dimensions world start coming in, they was all destroyed. You understand these things, but you don't have to understand them. If you're two-dimensional, you're not going to understand anyway. If you're three-dimensional, you may not want to understand it. Because I ain't mess with that, man. I ain't going upstairs 30 seconds. I don't know what's up there, man. I'm hanging you on the first floor. Well, you hanging on the first floor. Now, I'm going to explain this. See, we're going to talk about the Levites for a minute. You know why are Levites? Right now they have demons in there with them. And it's ruled by son of Perdition, Farrakhan. But if you see this right here, right, it says new heavens, new earth. Now, the Levites, they're very problematic because that's all the trouble that Son of Man had was with the Levites. He said they had heads like rocks or something. But he says he made his head like flint, could be hard in there. So he says don't be dismayed with the way they look and all that kind of stuff, right? Because they look hard at him. It was very, very difficult. So you got Shabazz and you got the Levites that, see, the actual promise everything was to Shabazz, but Levi said, we want to tag along with you. So they said, okay, if you do what we do, then you get the same benefit, right? But the covenant was to Shabazz. See? But Levi said, okay, we'll live with you, But they proved very problematic. Jonah didn't want to deal with him. He said, man, you waste your time. He told the guy, you waste your time with them. And the guy said, oh man, come on, you got, he had to spend 3 years on Demon Island because of Levites. Because he just wasted time dealing with them. It's a waste of time. And who they talking about? We said the measure of the covenant. See, they say he will come to the temple, but he's coming, what? That's the Levites would be seeking him, not the elect. But you don't understand that story. So he said, come to his temple, right? That was while Elijah was there. When it was a temple. See? And you follow up with the story about John and Jesus, right? Because Joshua is the same name. They get all hung up about the name Jesus, right? But it says he came to John. Remember, he came to Elijah, right? And baptized him. Elijah didn't want to baptize him. He said, "I'm not worthy to baptize you." But he said, "No, you got to do it." Right? So he initiated him in, but he said it wasn't until Elijah was beheaded, then he started his ministry after that. See, the story is right there. He started his ministry why he said after Elijah was beheaded, which means the nation of Islam was beheaded because Elijah was taken away. Then he started his ministry after that. And even then, he didn't want to deal with the Levites. He didn't want to deal with Elijah's followers. He said, "I don't want to mess with them because, man, you're going to take and put old wine to new wine. You're going to mix it up. You're going to spoil the new wine." He's not how he said it. He said, "You can put new wine, old wine in new vessels." Something to that effect, right? He said, "You're going to spoil it." He didn't want to deal with him. Every time you look at him, John didn't want to deal with him. Jesus didn't want to deal with him. He told you he didn't want to deal with John's followers. And remember, Jesus' ministry didn't start after John. If you read the stories right there, all the stories right there, it's very clear about what's supposed to be happening. See? And then in Mark, like he don't go to them. See, you see, they come together. It says Ancient of Days just set when, but he didn't go to them because in Mark, they came to him. They came to him. And even after that, he gave them their mind back there, he left them behind. And even in Daniel, when Master Muhammad came to deliver, he left the Levites behind. And you look at this thing right here, right? See? Because, I've been dealing with Levites for 35 years. And I've had a number of problems with them. Distractions. I've been cheated by them, right? Back I tried to help some years ago, right? Trying to show them how to do for self and trying to show them Elijah Muhammad after Farrakhan took over. I was going to help them. Set with business, I set the whole thing up for them and they cheated me. My daughter went over there. I told her don't go and mess with drink the Kool-Aid. She over there, she's trying to think she can find somebody like me because she saw I took care of business. And she 3 marriages, all of them total failures. Because they don't do anything. She got a master's degree and they figure she's going to work and she's going to take care of them. Levites. They're the ones I have to deal with personally. And they don't get it. Because if you got it, your whole disposition be different. It's like, I was laid back, I ain't taking no bullshit from nobody. I was laid back. I was always off to myself. I was always like a hermit. Right? I was very careful what I did. I made, and then once I got into, like I said, by accident, well, not by accident, but I felt like it tricked me back into it. And once I realized what I had done, broke seals, I became a fireball. I checked my I'm dealing with stuff I'm dealing with people that everybody would tell you before. I'm gonna deal with people. But that's what needed to be done. I stepped up and did it. Unprecedented time, you gotta do unprecedented things. So I stepped up and 100%. Forsake my family and everything else. Because I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it half-ass. Fireball. I said, most people don't know me because they see this image. They don't know me how I really am. For me, like I said, I can't wait till we get home so I can go get high somewhere. Elijah Muhammad said he would hide himself in triple darkness, close himself in triple darkness. He said he did that for 6 years. That he found, he came out. It revealed itself to people because he knew they needed it. Time unprecedented trouble. in his deprivation. Because otherwise he hides himself in triple darkness. Right? They come out and deal with these Levites, man, it's impossible. And see, I've been trying to talk to some for 4, 5, 6 years now. They still don't get it. And this right here, if they took one look at this right here, they would see the danger in. But see, you can't see it unless you remember. It takes energy to see these things, understand things. And if you don't put the energy, you ain't gonna get it, because that's obvious right there. New heavens, new earth. That means nothing else. If you talk, nothing else. But what's in the earth? Hell is in the earth. That's what hell is. That's the jinn they're with. Jinn was cursed. That's the one that Elijah came and cursed them. They put themselves in that position. They won't hear. They won't. Look at you, talk to them, they stare at you. It's right there. If there's only new heaven and earth, what else is there? So what's in the earth? In other words, bottom line, they're not allowed to be in the kingdom. The kingdom is new heavens. They're locked out of the kingdom. That's their choice. It didn't have to be that way. That's the way it's going to turn out. That's what it looks like it's turned out to me. It ain't there yet. But I think that's the way it's going to turn out. Because this should be easy to see this one. It's a threat. Let's look at a couple more things here, brothers and sisters. Okay? Make sure you understand this. See here. Now, it says, I saw a crowd much, which no one's able. Why could nobody number this crowd? Because it's doubt if any showed up or not. That's why it says no one would count. They knew. They don't tell me they know every detail. They know how much people could be. Because it's doubtful if anybody going to show up or not. That's why I said no one could count. Because they're in doubt. They're in limbo. What happened? And the Son of Man don't have to go to the NOI. He don't have nobody said he have to go there. Remember, he don't go anywhere. They come to him. And he don't have to say many should be called, but few should be chosen. Even if they come, he still might not choose them. They still might not qualify. The whole Levi story is way in doubt. It's nothing confirmed about it. That's why I said right here, nigga, look right here. Right? And answered me out of the older person, saying to me, these having been thrown about the roads and white, and they are wherefrom they came. Right? So where they come from? They ain't even, but when expected. You see, the 12 tribes was delivered, and then who are these people? They keep showing doubt. They weren't expected. It wasn't like they was firm, they had to come. Like firm prophets, they showed up. No. It says, who are they? You know? Remember, they don't know if they're going to be at all. And then there's some show. I mean, who are they? Wasn't expecting them. So these ones come out of the great tribulation. But look down here. And it says, don't pay attention to these things. Because the Lamb, up the middle of the throne, will shepherd them, will guide them to fountains of water, right? Remember that? They're on the water, right? And wipe out a tear of their eyes of them. They're under the good grace of the Lamb, whether he decided to do it or not. See? And they're still on the waters. That's where the jinn are. So he's going. Will he guide them? That's if they show up, because they wasn't. Don't know how many it is. He wasn't even sure where they came from, and so if they're there, right? Then it's up to the Lamb to what he want to do with them. And everything indicates that he don't want to be died by them anyway, because it's just too much trouble. Because first of all, it's not the Lamb that's doing it, it's them doing it. Because you keep telling them, you have to manage your energy. And they don't want to do it, they want somebody to do it for them. Push mobiles. And nobody's going to be doing that. And Lamb is not going to sit around here and he's human too. Matter of fact, I'm a human too. You think when they go to paradise, you think that's their paradise, sitting around telling you what to do? Pushing you around? They want to live their life just like everyone else does, make their paradise like they want it. Not pushing your ass around, telling you what to do. But you got a hand, you got to keep moving the fingers. What kind of hand is that? You got to move the finger, move it around, you know. Then you don't need that hand. You don't pay attention to these things. Keep pushing them, telling them. Because if they got the angel, you wouldn't have to be doing it. They'd be fired up. They'd be fired. They'd be taking care of business. Fired. You have to. If you know, you take a woman, she got a baby. You ain't got. She may never had a baby before in her life, but she want to take care of that baby. She's gonna make sure it's diaper. She's gonna make sure his butt's wiped clean, everything else. So if you make a mistake, like kind of stuff, because you don't give a goddamn about it. That's why. Because if you don't make mistakes out with your baby, and you may have never had a baby before, because you don't give a damn about it. Because you'll be making those mistakes. You be very careful, because you know your people's lives depend on it. You see, you talk, your actions is what's all about. And your actions are not angel actions. That means you ain't angel. You're still in the second dimension, pretending that you want to be in the third dimension. You're pretending because you ain't doing anything to get in the third dimension. Because once you get in the third dimension, you start seeing the angel, and you ain't see it. See, you can't take me to be a fool, because I know once you get start moving to the third dimension, you're going to see it. But if you ain't seeing nothing, that means you ain't moving up there. You ain't even trying. So the point is, like I said, I've come to the point at this point where, you know, that was a question. Where Solomon would just give up and just say, heck with him, just close the door. I'm there now, really. Because that's what he said. He says, they tell you he had to come with soap, he had to come with fire. Damn. You see what he did with Elijah? 40-something years with Elijah. They turned on a dime. So now you got to come with soap and fire. We got time for all of that. Elijah's supposed to prepare them. They said prepare. And they fell for Farrakhan. And I don't see how that, I mean, that's almost impossible to see how that could happen if you got any kind of brains at all, if you're about anything, right? But they did. Anything, I mean, it's wide open on him. You don't need a microscope or telescope on him, it's easy, you can see him. You could be blind and still see him. And that's what the problem is. That's why Jones said, man, it's a waste of time here, man. It's a waste of time. You're wasting time here. It's a lot of time, waste time and energy. But they can't say that they wasn't given a chance. Because my whole ministry for 30 years has been to them. And I made every sacrifice possible. I sacrificed my family, everything, to get some message to them. For what? In vain. So they can't come and say in the judgment, hey, you promised us you was going to send somebody. Well, somebody sent. They made all the sacrifice and they talked to you for years and years and years and years and years. They would suffer for you, sacrifice. To Demon Island, thrown in jail and everything else. So how you going to say you got somebody and you ain't doing a goddamn thing with it? Right? And that's what Moses did. What Moses did. What did Moses do? I got something else here. Yeah. Moses took the calf. Moses got mad. He rejected him. And the God rejected him too. I mean, what's with these folks? And he took the calf what he had made and burned it in the fire and ground it to powder and strode it upon the water and made children. Remember I told you they in the water? Made them drink of it. That's a golden calf. That means they were down there cursed with the jinn. I mean, I don't know what they thought that position meant. There was new heavens, new earth. What else is there? And they was allowed to be in the heavens, in the kingdom. And where is the earth at? That's where hell would be at. Where the tyrant would be. Everlasting shame and apartment at part. Didn't have to be that way. But you can't tell them anything. You talk and everything. 35 years I've told sacrifice. Nobody can say all this. It's not to the elect. This 35 years was to them. Total sacrifice. I ain't asked for anything for it. I haven't asked for a dime. It's constantly and stand up for them and putting information out there and right, everything on the line, and you can't give them the move. You can't give them the move. I said, can these dead bones? That's why they call them dead. I said, can these bones live? They were still dead when the 4 inches. See, I tell you right there, they were still dead when the 4 winds blow. They were still dead. Damn. You don't read this stuff. And so it's up to Solomon what he's going to say, what he's going to even. See, because here, let me show you something. I know they pay attention to this. See, they had an option here. See, these Levites too. Levites too, right? Elijah's one. These are two others here, right here. See? Now, they had the opportunity to beat of these two, but they blew it. They're in the kingdom. So who are these? They ain't out of here. Who are they? Oh, I could tell you, but I ain't. But ain't none of the ones that I've been dealing with, I can tell you that. Okay. That's why, they was given a handicap. They knew they couldn't. They was too weak to move strong into the third dimension. They barely get their head above it. That's why I only give them 2 books, 2 small books, just enough to get them above the second dimension. So who said they would wash their robes in the blood of the Lamb? That's those 2 books there. But it's not anyone I met. So it wasn't them because they ain't doing anything with it. So who are they? But they actually washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb, they'd be up here. They wouldn't be here. This is where they got cursed. Moses cursed them at. They've been up here. But these Levites. So there's a group of Levites that's going to, but they ain't the ones I met because it says they be made flames of fire. Why he said they made flames of fire? Because remember, these also represent fire. Ain't none I met. No. The diagram's right there, but no. So that's the NOI. Right? And so at this point right now, I haven't totally made up my mind, but right at this point right now, I'm not even sure if you do come to me, I even just acknowledge you. See, he said I wouldn't be discouraged. I'm not discouraged. It's been discouraged and realize it's hopeless. That's what, like, to me, it's hopeless. Time of unprecedented trouble means you have to make unprecedented commitment. I had to make an unprecedented commitment. I didn't have to do what I did. I was doing fine. I could, well, after I saw third dimension, it wasn't where I was going to stay in that second dimension. Right? Once I saw it, man, what's going to happen in that second dimension? But I was doing fine in the second dimension. I was doing great. I let it go. It's like that. Boom. So I see all kinds of stuff that they don't see. They walk around and they think I don't see them. I see all kinds of things I don't see. A lot of things I don't see because they wouldn't understand anyway. It's like talking about calculus and stuff. I never talked that to them before. I mean, I told them many times, I says, there's a lot of things I could go back. You can't handle addition, subtraction. How are you going to deal with that? New heavens, new earth. So and that's the thing. This is not my doing. This they're doing. I keep telling people, if whatever's happened to you, that's your creation. So if you don't like what I'm saying, that's your problem. Because the reason you don't like it, because if you was third dimension, you would love what I'm saying. Because you, first of all, it wouldn't be a problem for you because you'd be above it. See, if I'm out here breathing fire and you fire, you get inspired by it. But if you would, you will get burned up. You fuel for the fire. Oh, yeah, because you're still in the second dimension. What I'm saying right now, if you're in third dimension, you fired up. Because you know this is inspiring you, man, because you know you're on your way to paradise. But if you're getting scorched and everything, you know, because you still wood, you're still in the second dimension, and you ain't. And the problem is, before you scorch, because you got third dimensional qualities, and that's what's burning your ass. Because if it's two dimensional, that don't bother you at all. Because you ain't nothing's making any sense to you. But if you're two dimensional with three dimensional qualities, that's what's burning you. That three dimensional side of you is burning your ass up because you ain't doing nothing with it. You're not cultivating it. Allah will lift you up and you cling to the second dimension. He'll lift you up, three dimensional, but you cling. See, it's all there. But you cling that second dimension. I debated whether I was even going to talk to you about dimension and stuff. You know, I kind of slipped out when I talked about something else. I said, well, I might as well go ahead and talk. They probably don't understand what I'm talking about anyway. Right? Because you understand, you can tell a person understanding by how they carry themselves, they act. And based on that, they don't understand a damn thing I'm talking about. And the other thing is, I know for a fact that the closer I get, since if either you're with me or against me, I know the closer I get, the devil's going to do everything they can to suppress this message. So, have I been infiltrated? Because if you ain't with me, you're against me. And if you are causing distractions and all kind of stuff, that means you slowing this down. You ain't helping it. So what? Are you an agent? It doesn't matter if you're agent or what. If you're second dimension, doesn't matter if you're agent or not. You get destroyed with the second dimension. I expect that. I've had it before. I expect it now. The devils pay attention to this message. They don't understand it, but they hear me talking about what's things happening and they see those things happening. So they don't know what to make of it. Is he right or wrong? That's one of the reasons why they have doubts about Iran. If he's right. One brothers sisters. So is there another one here? That's Moses, basically. Moses he got hot with him. He came as soon as it hot, and he saw the cat dancing. Moses anger hot, right? Levites do it to themselves. So I mean, if they would love this world like, they're fine. Hang on to it. But don't come around and yeah, well, I want the hereafter. That's your nature speaking that you got three-dimensional quality. I want it, but you don't do nothing about it. I want to be strong, but you won't go to the gym. It takes a lot of energy in the third dimension. That's why we couldn't stay there. That's why we ended up forced down to the second dimension. We couldn't stay. It takes so much energy. I said the structure takes a lot of energy. Remember, because you got all the bells and whistles. The other guy, he's a stripped down version. So it'll take more to maintain you than that one. So he's a stripped down version. He can handle it. When you got it, man, yours much more expensive. So then the only way you get, right, less money you get, you have to strip down to it. Eventually, you strip down with that one. You have all the options. You can hook them back in, right? The other one, he just stripped. He came stripped down, so you can't add anything to him. But they'd take things away from you to get you down to that level. Then when you start making more money, and everything, you start adding those accessories back. He can't. He wasn't. He came out of the mouth, didn't have that. It's simple. So I had to move on, brothers and sisters. Look, right now, there's so much happening, and you pay attention to anything what's going on, and these folks may be fighting right now. They're nervous, everything. I mean, all you hear, war. I told you years, that'd be 2 points. The Middle East primary, and then Armageddon in Europe. And that's where 2 focus points are. But they got it backwards. Farrakhan, Armageddon. You seen Armageddon? Oh, it's going to happen. As soon as it's blow up in the Middle East. That's any day now, maybe today. Oh, and here's the son of Perdition. That's Farrakhan. Any reading of this will tell you it's Farrakhan. So is he a Levite? He's definitely a demon. But his mother Levite, I don't care really. In fact, he's a demon, that's enough for me. So the thing is, the Levites fell for him. Why? He hasn't produced anything for him. He hasn't produced a damn thing in 40-some years. How did they fall for that? You say, what's wrong with these Levites? I mean, if they were just 2-dimensional beings, you could understand it. But they got, I mean, is that Esau? Remember Esau? Well, maybe that's what it is. Esau cursed his 3-dimensional aspects. Because he said, I don't. Right? The kingdom was his. The 3-dimensional kingdom was his inheritance. Hey, I didn't look at it that way. I'm thinking about it. That's what it is. That's what they're trying to tell you. Because he sold out for a 2-dimensional. Sold out for 2-dimensional. God hated him. He sold his 3-dimensional inheritance for a 2-dimensional. That's what Esau did. But Jacob, his brother, said, hey, man, oh, I want that. He was willing to lie, steal, kill anything to get it. So there you go. That's the story again. I ain't thought of it like that, but yeah, that's probably it. So that's why Levites, they caught up in this gravitational vortex. They caught up in this world. They can't let it go. So you have what have been a master slave. Because that's what an employee is, just a slave, modern day slave. They just changed the name like chitlins and chitlins. Before you came here, you weren't an employee. Before you came here, you weren't an employee. You didn't work 9 to 5 anywhere. You didn't need Social Security. Didn't need insurance. You weren't homeless. Didn't need a mortgage. You had none of that. And you was happy and healthy. And you was your family all the time. And you was part of a body. So some people out did the farming, they was happy doing it. Some people did the cleaning, washing the clothes, they was happy doing it. Some people did build your huts or whatever you was living in, they was happy to do it. Everybody worked together. Everybody ate at night together, or whenever they ate together, and they danced and had a good time. Constant with the family all the time. That's where it was. And now you got I got 9 to 5. I got a car that 9% of that car is used to get back to your 9 to 5. It's stupid. Hmm? You need Social Security. Got a mortgage, all this stuff. How much time you got to spend? How much time you got left to spend on all the so-called freedom you're supposed to have? You was totally free before you got here. You haven't been free one day since you've been here. Then you be told what to do. You was told yourself when you was there. You was happy because you was being who you are. Everybody was happy you being who you are. Everybody accepted you how you are. Even that. And that was still 3-dimensional, very low. We got very low in 3 dimensions, but still a little bit left. Look how you was doing. You still had a little bit left, just a little bit 3-dimensional left. And look what you was doing. You're still happy. You're still healthy. You know all this bullshit they got here. You think it's advancement, and then you was sold in 2nd dimension, total wipeout. And now you think this is progress? Employee? You're doing the same thing you was doing when you're in the field. You still got a taskmaster, supervisor tell you what to watch what you do, and you still do 8, 9. Wait, now they make it a little easier for you now, but same thing. What's the difference between eating pig shit and dog shit? Well, I ain't eat no pork. Still eating shit. Still slaves here. Do what they tell you to do. There's something even worse than that. Right? Let the master control your home and everything else. Oh, tell you where to live. You know, that's Section 8, right? You can live here. Welfare, that's how much money you get. And then now they want to tell you what you can buy with your food stamps. If you got the injury, you ain't doing that. I can tell you that right now. You ain't doing that because injury management. Because if you had an injury, you would know that that's just quality. That you let somebody control your situation, you control yourself. Hey, I don't want your money. I don't want your wealth. I don't want Section 8. You go out and take care of business. You would do better, and you'd be happier because now you control the situation. And if you're a man and you got a family, they're going to appreciate you more because right now, who they appreciate? They appreciate master. They'll say, worry about master. Make sure you get master will keep sending my check. Because they know to do something wrong, master was to cut the check off. So if you're in your mind, you'd be out there taking care of business. You'd be doing Uber or something. You'd be doing, and you realize you still get the same amount of energy. But if you had to do a master, right? All of a sudden, you see things around you disappearing because your energy is disbalanced. You say, why I lost this? Why I lost that? Because you ain't mathematics. You're trying to get over. I got family members, the same thing, and now everything, lost everything the person had, everything. I kept telling them, you was living off another family member. I said, oh, I thought he was getting over. And that person died, and all of a sudden and everything disappeared. They're virtually homeless now. I said, you got to work. You got that dark cloud over your head. You got to work it off because you was getting something for nothing, and now everything went bad for you. You lost everything, family, everything else. I tried to tell them all. I tried to tell the person that all. I kept telling you, stop doing that. Stop living off that person. Stop living with that person. Go out and get your own job. Go your own. No, man. Okay. Now that person died and they was out. You understand the mathematics of it? If you're getting $1,000 a day, and you know you're getting $1,000 a day, what's the difference between you saying, okay, you getting it, it's coming from you from God. But you let the devil trick you and say, hey, I'm going to give you $1,000 a day. So you take $1,000 a day from that person. But you know you're getting it. This company, everybody gets that. So you take $1,000 from that person, but they tell you what phone to get $1,000 in. Well, I'm gonna give you chitlins. That's what you eat, because they turn what you eat when you live and everything else. So you're a fool. If you understand the energy, you understand the mathematics of it, then they controlling the quality of it. They getting your business and every damn thing else. Because you're taking it from them. You're taking the quality from them. If you was taking out here and cut them up, and you know you get $1,000, now you control it. Now you ain't got to put out that bullshit. So you don't have the engine. You don't have no anything about the engine if you're doing that. I said it's plain. I said everybody gets the same amount of energy. But you're going to let devil back in the fields. We couldn't do anything. They control it. They control all of it. We didn't have enough energy even control. We didn't have enough energy even to manage our energy. But now we do. And so now you let the devil still manage it. The devil don't manage my energy. Don't manage mine. Tell me what to do, what I can do, whatever. I don't depend on anything. You know, my wife, she could tell me, I go out there and like I have my own bit, you know, I don't do that anymore, but I have my clients, I was doing something else, I was on the side. I was doing on the side, right? And then because of a certain family, I was trying to show something, right? And when I did Uber and all that stuff, I said, "Man, why are you doing that stuff? You don't need no money." Right? I said, that don't matter. Because I'm not depending on the devil to give me a damn thing. So I said, if you take the money, do what you want to do with it. And she does. She goes all over the place. All the stuff she does. I never haven't had a vacation in 35 years, but she goes on vacation. I said, hey, fine. I want to have what she want to do. But she knows it's coming from me. Not from the devil. So she respects me because she knows it's coming from me. She ain't got to say, where's my welfare check? Where's my Section 8 check? Call up. I had to do it. Because you know it's coming from me. I control it. Now we have limits because, you know, we still want money from the devil. Matter of fact, my head was affected by this also. They threw him in jail, if you know all that. But I manage my own energy. And so she respects me because she knows, right? Now she don't need me because she can do it her own self. But we have a relationship, right? And I make sure I give her everything she needs and everything she wants. So she like the quality I give her. I fulfill her needs. That's what you're supposed to be doing. So if you ain't doing that, you don't tell me you know something about danger because you don't. Because you're afraid. Oh man, if I stop getting that check and everything, man, everything, yeah, okay, well you go on to it. That's why it says all the fearful be thrown in the lake of fire. That's what Farrakhan wasn't. What has he done? He didn't produce anything. And the people that's with him, who they control? But they control by the devils, because they work for the devil. They have a job for the devil and everything else. They ain't free to it. I get no truth, make it free. They work for the devils because they Elijah Muhammad. They share everything Elijah Muhammad does. I wouldn't work for the devil. I was with Elijah Muhammad. And I worked my ass off when I was Elijah Muhammad, and I didn't mind doing it. You know why? Because I saw the benefit from it. Yeah, I sold 300 papers a week like everybody else did. And I still did. Still supervised. Still was foreman, third shift. And that's a long story right there. Because even then I had property Levites. Let me tell you a story. I'm not going. I'm just tell a couple things here. When I first got there, right, like I was selling papers. Right? I had walked away from the military looking for Elijah. That's a long story. I wouldn't hide anything, right? So, and you sold the pay, I think sold 25 cents a piece at the time. But you paid 15 cents a piece for each one. You had to buy them up front. something like that, right? I think you made 10 cents on each paper you actually sold. But 10 cent meant something back there. 10 cent ain't nothing now. 10 cent meant something back in the 70s, right? So I sell 300 papers a week, right? And so what? It'd be a 10 cent a paper, right? That'd be three that'd be $3. 10 cent. A dollar would be $300, right? 300 paper, yeah. So that'd be $30. So I made $30 by sold 300 papers. And then you have a lot of lazy brothers that buy the papers. They don't have to buy the papers. They had to buy the papers to stay in the niche. You had to buy 300 paper a week. So we sold them, that's your business. So I find is the lazy, but they buy them. They knew they had to buy them, but they knew they weren't going to sell them. Like they throw them. I said, man, you throwing Muhammad Speak newspaper? Were you crazy? Give them to me. Right? So I sell mine and theirs. So I sell like 9 papers a week. So I was making like, but what was it, $90? That was a little bit of money back then, right? And I was doing that, right? And I said I was homeless for a spell. I went to a fasting thing, whatever. I got back. I was homeless for a little while. I worked my way out of that. And I went after that. Long story. I got back, went back to the Nation of Islam. I told what happened, and it was a long story. And I cleaned stuff up, and I went back, and I got a job at the Shabazz restaurant. That's not a restaurant, Shabazz, but that was his personal. He had personal businesses, right? He didn't live off people. When he left here, he wasn't a rich man, not with money, because he left all the money with the believers who earned the money. Not Farrakhan knew and took all that money. Bottom line is, and so they, Supreme Cap, he saw it, because he said, brother, he took care of business before he got sick, because I got sick. I started hallucinating. I was over fasting. I don't know if you know about this. When you fast too much, your blood sugar drops, and I'm dying, because I was super fasting, right? And you start hallucinating. And the reason why I was super fast is because when I first got there, right, I was eating bean pies like like M&M's, man. Boy, I couldn't stop eating them things. They were so good. I was eating, and I started getting ooze and stuff out of my, really, I get some bumps. I don't know what you call them. Stuff was coming. And I was a young man. I was in my 20s, right? Man, I looked around. I was, whoa. And I went to stop fasting. I over fasted. I said, I got to stop this. I stopped eating cold, right? And I started feeling over fasted, and I started hallucinating a bunch. Anyway, I came back. I left out the country, all this kind of stuff. I came back. So anyway, so he met, after I got started, that's straight, long story. I got a job at Shabazz restaurant, and Messer's Personal, right? And I worked there. And the brother that was running it, he said, "You married?" No, I ain't married, brother. So he told me about his sister, right? That wasn't married, and that was my first wife. I met her, and we married. And her brother turned out to be a minister in Indiana, minister for the messenger. And then she got a job working for, because of him, they knew her. So that's why the brother told me. I didn't know all this, right? So she was not really connected, but they knew about it because she was in the inner circle. And so, because of that, when they found out, because we got married right away. I met her, we married the next day. That's the way it was back then, right? And and when they heard about it, that's how I was making my money. I was selling papers for a living. I was behind the paper, whatever. Right? So we was living in a lady who had his house, and they had like a back room. And that's what she was living in when I met her. Right? And so I had my little piece of apartment somewhere where I was just selling papers there. So I moved in with her. And when they found out that I was that, they told me, okay, they got me a job at the Muhammad Speak newspaper. So I'm getting to the main point now. So I got there, and like I said, nobody ever liked me. I never had any friends because I was just straightforward and I didn't put in no bullshit, right? And like I said, I was standoff anyway. I didn't like to get out and talk. Because we didn't talk about it. Talk about sport. I wasn't interested in that kind of stuff. I was talking about mathematics and stuff like that. And they weren't interested anyway. And especially when they started talking, I would question what they're saying. Brother tell me, hey man, they be talking, hey man, Elijah Muhammad, man, he He's a 20 degree black belt. He could jump up 7 feet high and kick a net off your face. I said, where you get that from, brother? He can't do that, and that kind of stuff. So they obviously didn't like me, so they put me down in like a what they call it, grease monkey, like an order place, but that same thing on the press. You work on the press, all that grease stuff down there. They stuck me down there, out of mind, out of sight. They stuck me down there, boy. That's where I was working, and I could understand his brother because they wouldn't work. They was lazy. You had to go find them. They go to the bathroom for 2 hours and they're sleeping kind of on, right? And me, I was watching everything they was doing. I was paying attention to everything was doing. I was standing out in the pit, right? But I came up to whatever. I looked. I paid attention. I listened to everything. And so after a while, after about 6 months, right? They had the brothers. They came. The idea they said they was gonna they came to the idea, but they was gonna say they need to pray. They need to stop the press for prayer. When you stop the press, you lose a lot of paper and stuff because you got to start. And I said, wait a minute, hold it. You know, so somebody sent to the messenger and said these brothers say they need to stop for an hour to pray every night. Messenger sent back and said, hey, I ain't paying you to pray, I'm paying you to work. Oh boy, because they thought it was getting over. If I tell Messenger we got to pray, man, Messenger got to go with that, right? He didn't go down with that. So I said, what's wrong with these brothers? These Levites now, right? So then the next thing they came was they was going to do a so-called boycott, but not out directly. So they had the guy that was running it, the foreman. He was going to start off, so he just didn't come in. Then if he didn't come, because the way they had it, he had to run the thing. Nobody else knew how to run it but him. So if he didn't show up, the press couldn't run. You get it? So if he didn't show up, that night. Says, hey, we got to get these papers out. Nobody knew how to do it, right? And so his brother Majid, he was the manager, and brother Leslie, he was the assistant manager, right? And so, and they have computers. They had like a big panel. I had been watching everything for 6 months. I knew how everything worked. So I said, what are we going to do? So here I come. I'm little Daniel, right? Out with the sheep, right? Come out of the pit. I said, well, brother, I can run it. Boy, they held it in. They did everything they could to keep him from cracking up. I could tell. I could see he was hiding the way he was looking, right? They looked at each other. You know how you look at each other, right? To look. So the brother said, step aside. I said, okay, you sure? I said, okay. So I went over there, got on the console. You know, when you start learning how to drive a car, right? Like me, I jerked and everything at first, because you don't know. You're just nervous and everything else, right? So I went in, I was still, I hadn't done it, but I saw how he had done it, right? And I had watched everything. I watched how the press work, all the things you had to do. I was aware of all that stuff. I hadn't done any of it because they had me down there, but I knew how everything worked, how everything fit together, because I was paying attention. I was trying to scratch my ass. Say, I don't do anything half-assed. I told everybody, I do not do anything half-assed. I said, I'm going to do something, I do it. So I got there, and I stopped the console, and the thing, press jerked and everything else, they was about to fall out, right? And about 10, 15 seconds, 20 later, it started smoothing out. They said, no, that damn was running. Everybody looked at each other. Boom. I was supervised for that night, just that night, right? And so whatever happened between him and the actual foreman, they ended up letting him go. I was the foreman. It's like that. I was the foreman. And all the guys that were sitting around doing that, I got rid of all of them. I was the only foreman they let, was 3 foremen. I had a night shift. They let me get rid of all of them because they wasn't doing anything anyway. It was in the way. I knew what they was doing, and I brought a whole new crew in. And these are Levites. I said, this is FYI, man, this is Muhammad Street newspaper. And the way they was acting, I mean, and plus they were screwing up when they were doing it. They couldn't find them, slow down, all this kind of stuff, right? So I'm telling you, these Levites, and I tell you, I've had a lot of trouble with them. I didn't understand. I didn't know anything about Levites then, right? But I didn't really understand, didn't pay attention to that stuff until I got to the engine. I said, whoa, right? Then I keep talking about Levites all the time. But that's on them. I keep telling them. If whatever position you in, you put yourself in that position. If you end up in hell, you put yourself in hell. Because they can't say you didn't have somebody that came, because they said you had the Son of Man come personally to you, personally. You had the God come personally to you. You had the Messenger come personally to you. So if you end up in hell and you had all of that, and West was Messenger coming, you getting. They said you got a light that you never, and no science have got before. People in the prophet says they wish they could see this day. They said you got knowledge that they didn't get. A bright light, and you don't move. So if you're in hell, you can't say, hey, everything was done and you didn't do anything. You didn't move, so that's your fault. I keep telling you, when you look at it, yes, your fault. This is unprecedented time. Unprecedented time. It should be unprecedented, fired up. Unprecedented deeds. Unprecedented motivation. Somebody tells unprecedented time, you think that word don't mean anything? That's why it ends, unprecedented book. No man, no one, heavens, earth, under the earth. Well, that gets to the dimensional side too, but also I'll speak to that too. Come on, brothers and sisters. This is NOI. And you right now, the way things look right now, you may be totally lost altogether. Because I'm kind of like, why you waste time? Because if you come to me, Maggie, remember, and Mark, he got to come to the Son of Man. And he comes, he gives his mind back. The first thing he wants to do, see, tell you the story. He don't care about the rest of his people. When he want to leave he just came and got his mind back. He gave him his mind back. He didn't say, let me go get the rest of my people. No, I want to leave with you. You see, the story's right there. You don't even give a damn about the rest of his people. He said, no, you got to go back and tell them. You got to tell them. No, you got to go back. Why you got to be doing that? He used to be fired up. Hey, man, you got my mind back, man. All my people, I didn't get them. No, that wasn't his attitude. Let me go with you. F my people. Women, children out there, same condition he's in, he know. Hey, I have for them, man. I'm going with you. He said, no. See, you got to keep telling him all stuff. I got to keep telling you this. So then he said in the back, now, what he got him or not, what he did anything, don't tell you whether he did anything or not. Just tell you, right? He was left behind. So he goes to tribulation to help people. Because if he ain't helping himself, then why would he help them? And if they can't deal with the situation is right now, how the hell are they going to deal with tribulation? If you can't deal with this situation right now, how the hell are you going to deal with tribulation? You ain't. I don't see it. So if you could, you'd be fired up right now. If you understand anything about the angel, you know damn well I wasn't sitting on my ass for 35 years because I wouldn't have got this information. But then you can appreciate it because first you got in other words, you can appreciate a person that come out of the gym look like a Hulk. If you've never been in the gym, went out there and lifts up weight, damn, that's hard. Then you realize, oh man, that guy had to really put a lot of work in to get that. You got to go in the gym and start lifting something. You said, man, this stuff is hard. Then look at that guy and said, damn, he had to really put a lot of time in to get that. But if you've never been in the gym, you don't appreciate what it took for him to be the Hulk. You don't appreciate what it took him to be the Hulk because you never went to the gym, you never did anything. So that ain't nothing, man. Maybe took a steroid or something. You see what I'm saying? But once you go in there and you start lifting, oh man, damn. Man, he must have really put a lot of work in to get like that, man. Because after this, man, look, he must have like 24/7, like 5 or 10 years. So if you haven't broken one verse there, you don't appreciate what I've done. You talk that bullshit. You don't appreciate it because you don't know what it took to do it. Because you haven't done it. You ain't went to the gym, so you ain't lifted nothing, so you don't know what it took to be a Hulk. Or you see the Hulk, you don't know how. Oh man, it don't mean anything to you. But if you go and start lifting, then you appreciate it. That's how I know you don't appreciate the injury. You don't appreciate what I'm doing because if you did, you can't. It's impossible. Because once you lift one of those verses, you see what it took to do it. You say, damn. Then you have respect for what I'm doing. That's why you have no respect for what I'm doing. That's why you make mistakes, you all kind of stuff because you don't have respect for it. And I can't allow you to do it because, like a woman love her baby, she don't give her baby to anybody. Maybe she don't love her baby. I put 35 years in this, my life, sacrifice everything, my children, everything, and then you come and just fuck all over it? No, that ain't gonna happen. Yes, that's right, it's that. Fuck all over it. Because you don't appreciate it. Because if you did, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't be acting like you're acting, doing what you're doing. And then you understand what it took to get this. This stuff didn't come easy. But you don't appreciate it because you haven't experienced it. You don't appreciate what it took to build those muscles because you ain't been to the gym and lift one weight. That's why you act like you acted. That's why because you don't appreciate it. And but you got to lift that to get the hell out of here. So you don't lift it and stay in the second dimension. Well, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me go through this. I'm gonna close out, brothers and sisters, because that's where we are right now. And it's so hot, right? I got so many things to do right now. Okay? I'm getting the hell out of here, right? We got to take the kingdom back. Okay? And if you don't make it to the kingdom, that's up to you. Well, you ain't gonna make it to what? I mean, don't look like it, because like I said, the way it looks, it shows you in the earth. It could have been the kingdom. To hold those books, it could have been the kingdom on top of it. Let's go back and look at that one more time. Then we'll finish up. It says some of them are going to make it. Now I've seen so far. Yeah. Could have been here. This is the kingdom right here. This is the new earth. This is new heavens. Earth part. What's in the earth? Number of heaven and earth. So where's hell? The hell's in the earth. And then cursed in the earth too. So that's all it is. Everything else passed away. It shows you that in the angel key. Could have been here. You chose to be here. It takes work to get here. And we'll build a gym for you, put the equipment in there for you, show you get the address and everything else. You just walk by it. Hey man, there's the gym. That's it. How the verse goes? With difficulty, I forget that verse. Something to the effect that the path to heaven is difficult, but the path to hell is easy. Gotta climb up out of it. And that's what gave the angel everything. And I'm not lifting up anybody. It wouldn't make any difference anyway. Because now I gotta carry you all the rest of my life. If somebody gotta lift you up to get you in third dimension, only way you're gonna stand in third dimension, they gotta keep carrying you. When the hell gonna be doing that? They had plenty of time. Like I said, nobody stood over me. I didn't have 4 years to break these keys. I was like, as soon as I got started studying, and like I said, I wasn't even motivated because I didn't know what I was just, I thought it was a puzzle. I said, I like solving puzzles. Once I got a peek in there, oh, damn. I was not happy. I was not happy. Because I knew what it would take. I had somebody, I didn't know fully, I knew it would take everything I had, every bone in my body, every piece, every inch, every muscle, everything, took everything I had. The French, once I broke the seals, it took everything to break the seals itself. It took a lot. I didn't realize that because things started. I didn't know I was breaking the seals. Right, and I realized I had because things started changing already. I didn't realize it, and once I broke that, I said, "Damn! I knew it was going to take everything." And that's what it said in Jonah. He lost everything overnight. I knew it was going to take everything. It would take everything of me, my spirit, my life, my everything, my mind, everything, to complete this project. Once I broke those seals to get in there, and I knew it would take that everything, and it did, and has. A lot of stuff I don't even talk about. It took everything. That's what I knew. I don't do anything half-assed. So I said, okay, well, I had a decision to make. It took long to make a decision, half a second, but I said, damn, I had no idea I was going to go. Well, so I had those visions when I was a child, but I said, no. I said, am I ready for this, man? It's going to take everything. I didn't know it was going to take 35 years, though. That's another thing. It was going to take everything I had. It was going to be a blood. I mean, it was going to wipe me out, and it did. And right now, even now, it's taking everything from me. Every day, right? All the stuff I got to do to keep my health together too, and keep on with this and keep going current events and then still, like I said, still some of the Bible I haven't got to yet. I'm still working. It takes everything. 100% commitment. And why am I doing it? Well, one reason I'm doing it, I guess it is selfish reasons, right? But I want to get the help out of here. Right? But that would just be the study. When doing what I'm doing right now, that's for the benefit of the Levites. Anyway, move on, brothers and sisters. Let me go through this quickly and then I'll close out. I tell everybody, you are your creation. Not Allah, not Jesus. You are your creation. So if you choose not to make that sacrifice, then stay where you are. You choose not to get on the, right? The people that got on the ark, they had to work to get on the ark. Noah's son, they want to work. He said, I ain't going with her. Why would I do that for? I'm going to get to a high mountain. That's what happened to him. Okay, these are the, one like a lion, one like a calf, one like an eagle, one like a face of man, and then you have the 7 spirits, right? Each has 6 wings, right? And if you understand this, the top, the wings represents the people, the populace, right? In general, it means more than that, but in general. But the top part is the religious part of that nation. The gold, right? The gold represents the Islamic part. When I say religion, I mean the Islamic part of that nation. So if you list the calf, and this represents Asia, and we'll show that in a minute. Arabs are the top part. They're part of Asia. And so therefore they're the gold part, golden calf. They tell the Sunnis is the golden calf. So here's the case right here. What happened? Oh. Oh, I forgot about this part. It talks about the woman, the dragon, right? Here's the woman, to tell you who the woman is. Right? She has a child in her belly. Right? She's corrupted because from raping out women for 40 years. So the demons, they're skin folk. But these are still original, and the Levites, right? They mixed in, but they still original. White, black, right? And then you got the moon under her feet, right? That's the Sunni. And then here's the dragon. There's 10 horns of the dragon. Okay? I'm filling out that. And here's the 7 heads of the dragon. The dragon has 7 crowns upon his 7 heads. And those crowns were moved to the horns here. This is, remember, the Europeans was in power, and then authority moved to dragon, which is China, India. That's about happening in a few minutes, a few days. And then a serpent, that's the tail, and that's the whole key. So here's another proof right here, right? Okay, here's the nations. This was, Africa was under control of Europe. They colonized it. These are actual facts. India and Arabia, India and Arabia, right, so-called Middle East, they was dominated by Britain, UK. That's a fact, right? And us over here, what's the one we use? Subordinate, right, or under control of America. And then finally, you got here the Orientals, where they have Russia had ideological control over them because that's where communism came from. China, Vietnam, Korea, all communists, and that's where they got it from. So each has a certain quality of control. And it says, false Israel here, right? It's got 6 green and everything. It controls the whole thing. That's Satan. False Israel controls the whole mechanism. That's when sitting on the throne. So you know it's not God because the Lamb takes the book from this one's hand. So how could it be God if God got a book that he wrote, they don't understand the book itself? That don't make any sense. Anyway. So this gets, if you read chapter 11, this is talking about the two witnesses. Two witnesses are Syria and Iran. It ain't Elijah and Farrakhan. So you buy that crap if you want to, you better read it carefully. Anyway, in 1990, Europeans invaded Middle East and they took control and superseded the power of Iran and Syria. That's what happened here. They got pushed down. Because remember, Iran and Syria, they wasn't colonists or dominant any nations. They're the Islamic part of European, right? So that's 1990, and said they'd be there 24 years in that condition. So 1990 they had 24 years. That's right. 2000 by 2014, right? And that's when Obama was president, and the JCPOA. He put him at the foot. He put him under UN control of the JCPOA. That means there was a foot of the nations. That's what it's talking about. Foot of the nations. And they'd be there for approximately 3.5 years, right, until Trump canceled it, killed the agreement, right? That's what it's talking about. They were here, and they got pushed back between them and Gog and Magog and the Antichrist. They're in conflict. That's where we are right now. They're in conflict with each other because they're trying to move back into position. And they're holding them down. Okay? That's where we are right now in time. In Egypt, that's Egypt right here. Egypt is going to be the stone that knocks him. This is the story of David, right? It said he had a stone. This is slingshot. See, these are also white. So sling had a stone in it. These are the stones. So I'm not going into detail, explain totally. But it said he used the slingshot to knock Goliath in the head. This is Goliath. They also call Goliath. Okay, boom. That's the slingshot, right? It's loaded with this, and he hits. That's about to happen, brothers and sisters. That's what happened. This war, this was going to happen. Will happen any day now, maybe today, but they're going to war. And they can't stop it. If you understand how the math works, you can't stop it. This is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. They're going to be at war. They're at war now, right? They're covering each other, right? And they kick America and Britain, Gog and Magog, and Antichrist, they kicked them out of the Middle East. And they have total control of Iran, specifically have total control of the Middle East. Total control of the Middle East. You take it out. And false Israel under siege in America and Britain. There you go. Boom. That's when they attack us. And also America, this is Armageddon. This is where Armageddon starts. Because when they get kicked out, America, all the force that remains, they're going to run back to Europe. But Europe, because Iran has total control of the Middle East, they have no access to oil. They cut the oil off, and so the only one had Russia had plenty of oil, but because of what America was doing, it was cut off. So now they starve for oil. Their economy totally collapsed, like in chapter 18. So what they do? They make nice with Russia. Russia gives them fuel, but now they're on Russia's side against America. That's Armageddon. America's getting his ass kicked over there. Right? That's Armageddon. Falls Israel under sea. You see Jerusalem side by armies. Destruction is near. So it's right there. And that's no story. I'm not going too deep. Right? And then they're taken down. They're gone. See? But why are they attacking us? Because false Israel under attack, and false Israel was set up to stymie our vision. See, people without a vision perish. And Elijah Muhammad came and gave you a vision. Master Muhammad came to give you a vision of the promised land. That was the vision he had. And Elijah said, no, we can't have them have that vision. Can't let them have that vision. They'll say, can't let them have that vision. Because it will unite them. Because now they all see the same, taking the same way for the same goal. So they said false Israel in 48 to kill that. And so now the false Israel, you can see as it's right. It's on the seas. Now it's about to go down. They see Jesus ain't coming to save them. About to go down. So in that, what would happen here? People realize they true seed Abraham. If they go down, that couldn't be. Because if you're true seed Abraham, you couldn't be destroyed. If they got destroyed, that means now they was one blocking our vision. Now we see. Now we come together, and that's what they trying. So that's where. So when it goes down, that's where they attack us. Stop that from happening. Attack us. That's what happening. Here, brothers and sisters. They attack us. Stop what happening. That would say if you see Jerusalem armies, destruction not, but it tells you to flee immediately. Why? Because they're attacking you at the same time. They're gonna be attacking you because they've realized that you come to the realization. Right, you start to move in the third dimension. You're still playing in the second. Maybe you start moving. Hey, they got to stop that because they can't control you anymore. And you get revenge. Do them double has done to you. They attack all blacks, not just also all blacks. That's what happens here. Okay? So you're gonna see this happen this year. A few more days. Okay? Then what happened? The four winds blow. Remember, resurrection takes place till the four winds blow. I'm not going to explain what the four winds are right now. Four winds blow, and then what? And that's resurrection takes place. All blacks come together. Okay? All come together. And then they'll be separated. That's what Moses said. The goes with the Lord come with me. And separate them out from Aaron. Go to Aaron's camp. So when Aaron's camp say the sound of war, but not the sound of victory or defeat. That means war is going on. That's what's happening. Then he said, those with the Lord, he went to Aaron's camp, right? Those with the Lord come with him. So all Levites came with him. So that means the rest of them was with Aaron, and then they killed Aaron and all his people. Anyway, that's what happened. Then they separated out. Chaff and wheat is separated. Chaff and straw cast out. That's it. And this year is about 5 month period, so this will take into next year. This is locust war, where they're fighting to try to take control of America, and they will succeed. They will succeed because they're gonna be quasi-united, where America is totally disunited. It's totally pristine. Lost total control of it. Martial law has failed. Trump has probably already been Gaddafi. Oh, he gonna be a terrible end. And so they fighting. And so at 5 months, and when they can finish, they're finished, they have taken it at the same time. China, India shows up. Right? That's the 10 horns here. And down you call them yellow, brown spots, leopard. Because now America's being torn down. The military was bogged down in Europe because they're getting their ass kicked at Armageddon. And what's left there, military is messed up here because they got riots and everything going on here. Pack handlers and the whole 9 yards. So they won't be able to oppose them. They come in and tear the country apart. And when they come in, first thing they do is take out the demons. Excuse me. And they part Red Sea. They part, let the NOI through. And that's why I'm going to take them home. That's, if there's any survivors, that's tribulation. That's how to get home from tribulation. I think I said brothers and sisters. Well, I'll talk about this briefly. Shillings. That's what they actually call it. Shillings. But once you out the field, now you're an employee now. See? Oh, you're employee now. You're still a slave, but they call you employee. A nice name, right? So they changed it to CR and put an S there. Chitlins. I mean, he took the S off and put a C there. Chitlins. Still same thing. Still shit. But you don't know any difference, right? Because you're employee, you don't know that you stay employed. So all these metals, gold and silver, are most precious. That's why I said Message of Covenant, he's concerned with gold and silver. Okay, so we're the blessed part of planet Earth with plenty of gold and silver. Europe for 1,000 years, that's chapter 20, was a shithole. Disease, war, famine, filth. People didn't take a bath. The whole life without taking a bath. Because they're two-dimensional. All they can make is shit. They have power to make anything else. They don't like shit, but that's all they can make. Right? So, what happens is, oh, they found America and took control of America. What they shit over there? They couldn't do anything with it. Just make shit. But then they got a hold of us with gold and silver. They brought us over here. They don't tell you that. All the creativity come from okay. They brought us over here. Now they got gold and silver. Okay? We the gold and silver. We innovations, we all of that. Because say, well, how come all the innovations and all that stuff comes out here? How come they, all this stuff, the marks, all that stuff, how come it come out here? How come they come out in Europe when they was in Europe? How come all that stuff come out there? They're all white folks there. Because we here. Okay? So then we start producing gold for them, and they fed us shit. They fed us shit. We got shit from them. We can convert that shit to gold. They convert, no. It's like you go out here, you work for somebody. You go out there and farm for them, right? Cows, corn, everything else, right? And so you give him, he got the corn and everything else, and then when he goes shit, he give you the shit back to eat. That's what's been our life in here. Because that's all they can produce is shit. They eat us. Turn to gold mine, silver mine, everything, all the innovation, all that stuff, that's come from us. That's why they want to lose us. Because no innovation come from any place else on the planet. How come it not come from France, Germany? All those places, all white folks there. Come no, because we here. They won't tell you that. America. So they feed us the shit, and we give them the gold. But then when time comes to leave, after 400 years, we leave, and they revert back to shit. So they can make. More details, I have more detailed person I did yesterday. Well, here we are. America, land of shit, but they got us the gold and silver. Everybody's saying because they gave us their mind. So we we employees and we singing. Because we don't know we employees. We don't know that, right? So that's the case. And then what? And then after gold and silver removed, they go back to being the shit again, cave dwellers. It's fact, brothers and sisters. I'm not making it up. And then we're back home, and now we join ourselves like we was before. No sickness, no doctor, no prescriptions, none of that crap. Okay? No welfare, no social security, none of that stuff. Don't need it. Power tribe and everybody takes care of everybody. Okay, I'm gonna well. What's this quick? Here we move in the righteous direction, right? That's us. And then here, perpendicular, devil, different nature. These are vectors. That vectors work. I got a whole presentation explaining it. So now the guys go in this direction because we're going this way. We get hit by an eastern wind. So now the car is swerving this way. Who you blame? You blame the person, or you blame the person to win? In a car, you blame the wind. You obviously, if you got any sense, you blame the wind. It's throwing you off course like this. You understand? So whose fault is it, right? That you go in this direction? Is it you or is it the wind? Obviously, if you understand, it's the wind. And so therefore, if we act on ourselves, that's because the devil's influence on us. The Pharaoh can't blame us. No, their fault. Because if they was good people, they would inspire us to go higher. But since the evil people, they throw our direction off. And so that's them. They're the wicked ones. Right? They're there. It's them. Farrakhan says, us. You're wicked, you see? That tone, because you're a lying dog. Farrakhan. Farrakhan. He said he loved, he says follows the Jew, right? He did that. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters.